What's up, Buttes and viewers? My name is Kiss, and welcome back to KTB Network. Today I am reacting to Resident Evil 9 Reveal leak by Wes Nemo. I'm saying Wes Nemo because you like Finding Nemo. But let's see what he has to say. Let's watch.
Resident Evil franchise has had a ridiculous history with quality shooting up and down by the decade. Capcom has done a great job of keeping their winning streak following the fantastic soft reboot with RE7 and the string of excellent remakes, but fans are now getting a little confused as to what's happening next. The last mainline Resident Evil...
Yes, and Resident Evil 4, I'll place it here somewhere. I will be playing that with the voice mod that's coming out from Pro Montreal, so make sure you go ahead and follow them, because I'm sorry to the actress, not bullying her, but the direction that was given sucks. So we you know, modders are coming through.
Evil game was Resident Evil Village, which is now 4 years old, and the last big game to be released was the Resident Evil 4 remake, which dropped in early 2023. Capcom has clearly been working on something in the meantime, but they're very hesitant to tell us what it is exactly. Thankfully, we have some inside reports to go off of, and with the summer game showcases happening as early as next month, we could be getting a big RE9 reveal, which is really exciting. Today's video, we're going to be going over absolutely everything we know about RE9, including the big reveal date, when it's supposed to drop, and what exactly we can expect from the experience. We have a lot to cover, so check the video chapters for easy viewing, and let's get started. So there have been quite a few details that have come out about Resident Evil 9 and where Capcom is going to take with this game. According to a new batch of rumors, the game is going to be a pretty huge reinvention of the series, likely serving as a soft reboot in the same sense that RE7 was, meaning it will feature gameplay unlike anything else in the series up to this point, which could explain why it's taken them so long to show it off. Now, these reports claim that RE9 will have some open world elements, and that it's going to be the biggest mainline RE game to date by a pretty large margin. Now, it's rumored that both Leon Kennedy and Jill Valentine are supposedly going to be playable characters, and there is a chance that Chris Redfield and Barry Burton will show up as well, but they likely won't be playable, at least not in the main campaign. Now, there's set to be a very wide variety of locations to explore, such as a forest, a temple, a hospital, and a few laboratories, although it's unclear if this will be a part of a unified open world. There have been a number...
Ooh, hospital makes me uneasy. I love it.
Reports that say RE9 will feature open world elements, which there's obviously a pretty big difference between that and a proper unified open world. Now, personally, I'm getting the impression that RE9 will feature a handful of different large maps rather than one giant one, similar to games like Avowed and Dark Souls, where there are several different massive levels with tons of different locations within them, but you have to fast travel from level to level instead of being able to walk from one to the other without a loading screen or some kind of transition. And frankly, I am totally fine with that, because it's basically just an evolution of the format, which that format was used in games like RE4 and RE8, where you would explore various open-ended sections with tons of important locations within them, but you couldn't just freely go from one to another like you would in a traditional, like, unified open world. Now, horror games typically don't work well in an open world setting because the horror genre is very dependent on pacing and making sure the player sees what the developers need them to see in the right order. So it would be extremely risky to make a Resident Evil game that is open world, and honestly, I just don't think that Capcom is going to go that far with expanding the formula. I absolutely believe that they're going to make this game the biggest in the franchise, but I don't think they're willing to go the extra mile in turning it into a proper open world game, because they're aware of the fact that it would drastically change the tone, which is probably something that they don't want to do again. Now, again, I'm all for making the game bigger with the established formula of RE4 and RE Village.
So they're probably going to make it semi-open world.
But I don't think it would be wise to make one,
like, to give you a choice on which path you want to take first,
giant open worlds, and I seriously doubt that they're going to do that. However, there are some games like The Evil Within that does have, like, really open-ended areas. Granted, it's not a fully open world game either, but it does feature those open world elements that I think that Resident Evil is going to try to target. Again, I'm perfectly fine with them trying the open world formula, but I just don't think that it would work in the favor that they want it to. So that's why I think they're just going to go with, like, the same similar format that was established with RE4 and RE Village. Now, I've seen some concerns that the Resident Evil 9 game, if it is fully open world, like the current engine that they're using, doesn't really work the best with open world games, and which I will say this: If they're using the same engine that they developed on Monster Hunter Wilds with and Dragon's Dogma 2, then they should have no problems with making Resident Evil 9 a fully open world game without any loading
Really?
screen.
Because I heard that Monster Hunter Wilds had a problem with open world games, and you're saying otherwise.
Or transitions or anything like that.
Okay.
Now, speaking of the game engine, I do think it's safe to assume that Resident Evil 9 will be built on Capcom's in-house RE engine, which I'm perfectly okay with that because that thing is absolutely amazing. Capcom has been using the same engine since RE7, and it has been one of the best engines on the market right now for realistic graphics and consistent performance. Now, there have been issues with like Monster Hunter Wilds and even Dragon's Dogma 2 in terms of performance, but those games are fully open worlds. So if Resident Evil 9 will be a fully open world game, they will have to make engine upgrades to the in-house engine to make sure that it supports a fully seamless open world game. I'm just hoping that Capcom eventually backs off of its use of Denuvo on the PC version, because the implementation
Oh, yeah, because I heard it lowers frame rates and all that stuff.
of that
Aside from what I hear is cracking.
has been pretty controversial over the last few years due to its tendency to cause frame drops and stutters in an otherwise excellent PC port. Like, obviously they should be able to protect their game in whatever way they want, but just Denuvo sucks. Like, if you play any PC games, you know games with Denuvo run pretty bad compared to the ones that are DRM free that are like on GOG. Honestly, I do hope that they do upgrades to the game's engine because
That makes me want to do research now if the game runs on Denuvo prior to playing it on my PC, because I'm not putting my PC through that. If it runs on Denuvo, then I'll play it on my PS5.
I think that being able to support a seamless open world for a Resident Evil game will only have great implications on the rest of Capcom's games in their lineup. So next up, let's talk about the big reveal. Obviously, as you guys know, during the Capcom Next, I think it was in like 2024, we had director Koshi Nakanishi reveal that the new Resident Evil game was in development. But as of right now, we don't know the exact title. However, there have been some leaks and rumors that it will be titled Resident Evil and then an I and X, Roman numerals 49. And outside of that news during Capcom Next that they're making a new Resident Evil game, it's pretty much been radio silence for the most part. However, it's been hinted that we are going to be getting a proper reveal for Resident Evil 9 in the very near future, potentially even next month. Now, you may have missed it, but Capcom actually teased RE9 in a video last month. On their Twitter account, Capcom posted a video thanking players for helping the RE4 remake reach 10 million players. But throughout the video, there are several Roman numeral 9s hidden in the environments. And you may write some of these off for just being coincidental parts of the Resident Evil 4 environments. Fans quickly realized that these were deliberately put into the video by Capcom and they don't actually exist within the RE4 remake, which means that somebody at Capcom is trying to tell us something. It's definitely about time that Capcom announced RE9, and since they're suddenly starting to hide the number 9 in their social media posts, that definitely suggests that they're gearing up for some kind of reveal in the coming weeks. Summer Game Fest is one of the biggest showcases of the year, serving as kind of a replacement for E3, hosted by none other than Jeff Keighley. The 2025 showcase has been confirmed for June 6th at 2 p.m. Pacific time, and many fans are starting to think that this is where we are going to get our first look at the new game. Capcom has historically shown up at Jeff Keighley's events with major announcements, and since the publisher seemingly isn't going to be doing their own like summer live stream like other publishers do, I think it's safe to assume that they're going to bring the announcements to Summer Game Fest. Now granted, I do think it's still possible that Capcom announces another Capcom Next, which I believe that happened in July of 2024, but I kind of think that they probably would have announced it already if it was going to happen. However, they still do have plenty of time. They can announce it at any time at this point. Heck, we don't even know if PlayStation's going to do something around the time of Summer Game Fest. We know that Xbox and Nintendo are going to do something, and Ubisoft and most likely EA as well. So it is possible that Capcom either does something for Summer Game Fest for RE9, or perhaps they wait for a PlayStation showcase to announce RE9. Either way, I think it will be at a third-party show. I don't think they're going to do it themselves, because if there was a Capcom Next, I'm sure that they probably would have announced it. But either way, Capcom is no doubt going to have a lot of summer announcements in the coming month or two, and if they don't announce a Capcom Next presentation very soon, then I think it's probably safe to assume that they're going to jump on Summer Game Fest, or even the PlayStation Showcase, or maybe the Xbox event as well, and give us a big reveal for RE9. One thing is for certain, with all of the teasers for RE9 that they've been throwing out, I'm absolutely certain that a big announcement by the end of summer is coming one way or another. Assuming that Resident Evil 9 is revealed this summer, I think that would point towards a 2026 release date, as Capcom likely isn't going to be dropping this game just a few months after it's revealed, which which kind of rules out a 2025 launch in my opinion. Granted, I
Yeah.
don't think a
It's already too
2025
late for
release
that.
date is totally off the table given how many games have had a very short marketing campaign as of recently, as well as the popularity of certain shadow drops like Ninja Gaiden 2 Black and the Oblivion Remastered game. But with how much hype is going to be surrounding Resident Evil 9, I'm guessing that Capcom is going to want a traditional linked marketing window, which means
They're probably want to. They're probably want to. Their marketing tactic is probably to gain anticipation. So it's probably going to be for next year.
2025 release date is very unlikely. But assuming that we get a reveal over the summer, I'm thinking this could mean that the game is going to drop in early 2026, possibly before Grand Theft Auto, which is currently slated
Most
for
likely.
a May 2026 release window.
Most likely.
Although you
So they'll probably release it sometime in the winter, since that's for spring.
never know if Rockstar's release dates actually mean anything anymore. So it's totally possible that GTA gets put
Yeah, but it's I'm thinking it's official because they put it on wish list already, and they have an official date
back again. But Capcom generally likes
as opposed to summer 2025.
to launch their big games at the beginning of the year, and this would actually line up for the release dates of the last few Resident Evil games. RE Village dropped in May, the RE4 remake dropped in March, the RE2 remake dropped in January, and then Resident Evil 3 dropped in April. So it would totally be in character for Capcom to reveal RE9 this summer and then have the release date be somewhere in the first few months of May of 2026, which means this game is actually less than a year from release at the time you're seeing this video, which is super exciting. But yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap it up with this video. Let me know what your thoughts are on Resident Evil.
Alright, like this man says. Let me know what your comments and what your thoughts are on this video down in the comments below. Let me know what other gaming videos you want me to react to. Like, subscribe if you vibe. Become a beauty today. And I will see you guys on live streams. Take care.